is normalize resistance in business instead of just portraying the beautiful and feel good part of business. Because the more we acknowledge and start embracing the resistance and uncomfortable part of business, the more ease will flow through your life when you are running your business. And there are many types of resistance that might come up as you run your business. In Gene Keys, Richard Rudd once said that business is a spiritual awakening journey on its own. You will learn so much. You will awaken to your own spiritual aspect, your own truth so much through business as well. It asks you to continuously summon that courage to go into the unknown, to face the unfamiliar, so that you get to be yourself, so that you get to do things as you. And when we look at resistance, there are so many different types of resistance that might come up in business. In my personal experience, there are resistance when you are out of alignment, right? Like you're doing something that's not for you. That's one type of resistance. And there are resistances that comes from when you are experiencing fear, right, of doing something. It might be due to some unprocessed emotions from the past. We call that trauma, right? It is more common than we talk about it. I think we need to talk more about it. Like trauma is common, like whether it's a big T or small t is another conversation, but we all have to some degree unprocessed emotions within us. And the more that we show up, the more that we take new actions, we are learning or bringing to our awareness those unprocessed emotions, and to process them, to complete that cycle. And that is how we heal our trauma, essentially. But that's not what I came here to do. And there's also resistance when we are doing something new. And when we are doing new things, making new moves, going into unfamiliar territory, we will feel uncomfortable because our body prefer the familiar, and it perceives the familiar as safe. Yeah. So oftentimes I realize that the first resistance that I mentioned about you know you say, sometimes I've seen people say, like, oh, I feel like this is not for me. And they felt the resistance, and they thought, they make it into an excuse to not do something, simply because there is resistance. Because they have seen people talk about how you might feel resistance when you are not doing something in alignment with who you are, with your design. But that is not all the resistance there is. Even if you are in alignment, doing the right things, there can still be resistance, and it is up to our own discernment and our own courage to face the truth. What is actually there that we get to learn, to grow. And when you personally grow, when you have the quantum leap of awareness within yourself, first you will start seeing the quantum leap in your material world, whether it's in your relationship, money, wealth, family, your dreams, your goals. Yeah. And yeah, so the main thing that I'm coming on today to talk about is that resistance. Oh, and the fourth resistance that I have not talked about. I feel like the second and the third, the resistance from fear and the resistance from doing new things, I felt like they are almost the same, in the sense that when you are doing something new, there is fear in doing something new. The body feels unsafe with the unknown, in the unfamiliar. So I will lump them together as one. So the third resistance that I want to talk about is when you are beginning a new momentum. So, you might be doing something for a long time, you took a break, and then to kickstart the momentum again, there will be resistance, and we call that the inertia, right? Um, and I'm bringing this up because I went for holiday in England, and then to Paris just 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago. And come because I fell sick halfway through the trip, I took a break from social media. I didn't have the capacity to come on and post every day. And then when I came back to Singapore, I felt better. I have more energy and capacity. So I decided to come back on. And there is resistance in kickstarting. And in Gene Keys, we mentioned that, that there's this Gene Key. I forgot the exact Gene Key, but there's this Gene Key that comes from the Chinese I Ching, talking about difficulty in the beginning, right? So if we overcome the difficulty in the beginning, the inertia, things will become more smooth, things will become easier. So that's what happened, right? So once I kick off that, I started posting story, I started coming on live, I decided to do a 5 day live, at least a 5 day live on Instagram here. I am kickstarting the momentum. So other than the first day, the next 2 days, for the first 3 days, things felt easier. I felt okay. I have, overcome the inertia. I'm back in my element. I am used to this. This is not my first time doing this. But then, you know what? Yesterday, before yesterday's live, I was, the resistance came up again. And this is because of my own discernment and self coaching, and really like continuously being honest with myself with gentleness and compassion. That is important when you are facing the fear and truth in front of you. Compassion and honesty with yourself. Sorry, compassion and gentleness. So yeah, so because I was very aware and honest with myself in this aspect, I was able to discern the resistance that came up before going live yesterday. It was I realized that it was a resistance that comes from, I felt like a next level move kind of thing, or maybe also a bit of the resistance coming from doing new and uncomfortable things, because um I don't often go live for 5 days straight. So this is new territory for my body, for my nervous system as well. I am building new neural pathway within my brain to make this my new normal, to expand my comfort zone, to have a more, yeah, essentially expanding my comfort zone. So I realized that yes, I have overcome the inertia, the resistance in kickstarting the momentum in coming back to social media again, posting reels, IG lives, but then continuously doing this for 5 days, new fears come up. Like, I start thinking like, oh, what if, no one wants to watch, no one wants to listen to me? Am I wasting my time? And then I come back to myself. What is it that I truly want to experience? What is it that I want to play in my business? Right? What is it that I want to learn? I know the neither moving moves. Yeah, that's right. Neither moving actions. Okay, that sounds weird. Yeah, and I know that by going live for 5 days continuously straight, there are people who will be impacted, whose mindset and perspectives will be expanded by what I share. Earlier on this morning, I woke up and I was reviewing last week's analytics on YouTube, and I have reposted all this IG lives replays over there on YouTube, so that those who wish to watch the replay at 2x speed, like how I prefer to do so, can do it there. And I realized that people do watch the replays over there. And I like to believe that for each person that actually watch, no matter whether they watch the initial part or the full length of it, they are being impacted by what I say. And I believe that my voice, my message, they are the medicine, right? So that is what I want to experience. That is what I want to believe. And of course, there is like the selling, messaging, marketing, copywriting part of it, which I am continuously learning on, hiring coaches and mentors to support me on. But I will never stop sharing my message. This is what I want to do. Yes, there will be fears that come up, there will be resistance that come up, but I will continuously show up, because our work here we decide, I decided to run this business, to do this work, to change the world. And I'm going to do this no matter how many times I pull back, I'll be coming back again. And I know that if you are here, you are the same. You are doing this work for the long term because you want to change the world. You know your work is so important, right? Because you have tried all the different stuff and now you discover a new way forward, a new way that will change the industry, your own unique methodology. And that is, you are the person that I want to help you to come out of being that secret online, to really shine so brightly through understanding yourself, your greatest impact, your 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 zone of genius, so that you can turn them into, plug them into all the messaging, marketing, and selling strategies, prompts that you have learned to shine your brightest, to attract your clients to you. And that is part of my why. And I love that, I have this awareness, and I hope that through today's um live transmission, someone out there, one of you, will be, impacted by this, in the sense to really embrace the resistance, whether you are new or whether you have been in this for 5 years, 10 years. You will feel resistance when you do something new. You will feel resistance when you are beginning a new cycle, kickstarting a new momentum again in your life. It is normal for us to have ups and downs in our life. Our life is cyclical. Just like nature, there are seasons in our life as well. So it's normal to have a period of rest and then a period of activity. And to kickstart the activity, there is inertia. It's like how a sprout is breaking out of the husk of the seed, to come out, breaking out of the soil, to be under the sun, to absorb all the nutrients. It is the same for us. It might be in the unseen, all this inner work that we are doing, all this resistance, discomfort, growth, joy. They might all be not visible to our eyes, but they are there, right? So yeah, I hope that this IG Live encourage you to embrace your resistance. And once you embrace the different resistance and be honest about what the root below the resistance that you are facing, growth will come. You will have that courage. You will be able to summon that courage to, okay, I, I feel this resistance, and yet I am going to do this, right? And the other point I really want to bring out is there can be joy along with resistance. Resistance doesn't need to be all heavy and sad and, I don't know, whatever you have been feeling. There can be joy and fun and ease along with resistance. Like, even though I feel resistance coming up here to do IG Live today, I was excited. I am anticipating it, despite all the jitters within it. It's like, will I do well today? Will I be able to share my voice? Will the message flow smoothly out of me today? Because I did notice in the past, um, some of my lives in the past few days, I felt that, my message wasn't potent enough. Like, what I truly want to say wasn't coming across, in a way that's easy to understand. And yeah, I still do this, right? And I still anticipate today. So I'm excited to see how today turns out. And I have fun, even when no one is listening, I have fun, because I know that today's live, someone will watch it either on your Instagram or over on YouTube when you watch the replay. And that can also, I am planning to repurpose all these lives into getting the snippets of highlights, to repost them, repurpose them. And I know my message is my medicine, and all this mess and life experience is my medicine to my people, which is you who are watching this replay live. And I'm just so grateful that, we're in this world to do, we have all this platform to share our message, our voice, to do this work right now. And yeah, I guess I feel complete now. Yep, I feel complete now. And to bring it back to Gene Keys, which is my zone of genius, which is my expertise, right? Which is the tool I use to help fellow business owners who are very aware and conscious of their conditionings to actually make sense of their experiences. Bringing it back, there's a few places, to round this up. I want to give you a few places where you can look at in your Gene Keys to actually see how and why resistance might be showing up. So two two of them are coming up. Okay, there's three. Okay, I'm sensing three coming up today, right now. So the first one is your life's work sphere, which is also your brand sphere inside the Gene Keys system. So your life's work sphere, if you look at the shadow, it shows up when you are not in alignment with who you are, your purpose, who you are meant to be, the work that you do, doing what you love, loving what you do. So the shadow shows up when you are not in alignment. The life sword and the pearl sphere, these two spheres shows up. I like to use them as a measurement of my alignment of where I am in life in terms of whether I'm aligned with myself and my purpose. So if you look at the shadow of these two, you'll be able to feel into whether the resistance is due to you out of alignment or not. And then the second place I want to look at is actually your Venus sequence or your path of love is where you open, is where your heart open, and the more you open your heart, you are able to tap into the gift within your Venus sequence. So I will look at the IQ sphere and EQ sphere in particular, these two areas, and look at how you might, putting how you the shadow will show you how you might be putting up walls emotionally or through the beliefs that your minds are conjuring up to protect you from, perceived threats that are in your environment. For example, the fear of, getting rejected. So you push others away first before you have the chance to get rejected. And or it can be, like fear of failure, right? Not taking an action because of fear of failure. So you put up a wall, set up certain rules so that you don't need to take that next needle moving move, the next level moves. And then the last but not least is the vocation sphere. This is the place that show you where you need the most courage, because this is an unconscious sphere. It is a place, it is your unconscious Mars. Where Mars was around 88 days before you were born. So this is an unconscious energy that might be holding you back from your next level move, from tapping into your next level self, next level energy, from stepping into your next level self, right? So if you look at here, the shadow, the gift, and look at what might be holding you back. Look at the keynotes. What is it reminding you of? How is it helping you understanding yourself? And how you are able to tap into the gift when you are following your higher calling. So I like to see like the whole Gene Keys profile is like, a compass, a blueprint, a map that is showing you signs when you are off your path. I'm talking about your path. I like to say it helps us stay in our own lane and not following others' road and path simply because um you know because we haven't seen results in through our own actions. So we try to take the actions, what others are telling us to do, what others have done, and hoping we get the same results as them. It doesn't work that way. You have your own unique path, and we are here. I am here to support you in walking your own unique path, running business your way by first understanding yourself deeper, deep enough so that eventually you can share your voice. I've helped you find your voice and infuse them into your messaging by first understanding yourself through your Gene Keys. Yeah, and recently I've recorded my latest masterclass on the vocation sphere where I share how it is the key to your next level success and where you might need the most coverage based on the line in your vocation sphere. So if you are interested, I'll drop the details in the description below. Check them out. And yeah, I hope today's transmission here will help you to run business with more joy and ease and fun, despite the discomfort and resistance you might feel. They go alongside it. And I always love to use this analogy. I love to visualize myself whenever I am feeling fear and resistance. It's like I'll tell my fear, I'll look at, after embracing my fear and looking it in the eye, it's like, let me show you how fun this can be. Let me show you, this adventure, the sights that we can see. I like to imagine taking our fear for a roller coaster ride to see how exciting it can be. Think about your favorite theme park ride or road trips. Put the fear in the passenger seat and bring it for a ride. See what happens. You show it how fun, how exciting it can be. Although roller coaster is not my favorite ride, but yeah, it's an example that I like to use. So yeah, I'm feeling complete now, and yeah, I will see you around.